Wednesday, day 279. Hey, have you looked in the mirror yet? Cause you look fine to me. It's first card to master components. I don't have a rhyme for components. It's from Avacyn Restored here. 4 mana, 3 and a blue for a sorcery. Draw 3, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. Pretty bad. Pretty bad Sift variant. Even the sorcery speed Sift variant, but you don't even get to pitch a card into your yard for later use. What kind of garbage is this? I will give this a 2.4 because it draws 3. It draws 3. That's pretty good. Next is Sun Titan. That's a magic card. That is a fine magic card. What are you from, my dude? Magic 2011? Sounds right. 6 mana, 4 and 2 white for a 6/6 giant with vigilance. When Sun Titer enters the battlefield or attacks, you may return target permanent card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. That is good. That's so good, baby. That's good magic card. You still see Sun Titan pop up on EDH Rec in just like random white decks. Weirdly enough, because it's so powerful. It's going to always get something back. A permanent card. It could even be a land. It could even be a boat. Right? This is still like 50 cents to buy because it's just going to go in every cube until end of time. It's going to go in a bunch of, nostalgia drafts. It's going to go in a lot of commander decks too, though, because this is real value and it's kind of tough to deal with. It blocks well too. But attacks because it's a 6/6. You got to give some love to Sun Titan even in the current year, which is whatever year you're watching this. It's only going to get more and more power crept out as years go by, but I imagine even in 2042, this is still going to be a card you could make a case for. So I'm going to give Sun Titan a solid 5.9. I think some people might actually lobby for a higher score, but I don't know if that's right. That said, I don't know if I'm right either, so I'm not throwing shade at you. I don't want to go any higher than a 5.9 in the year of our Lord 20XX. You know what I mean? But next is Cop Red. Best circle of protection. Absolute best circle of protection. You want to know something? This is the best one right here. This is 2 mana. I'm going to look at the 4th edition. Well, no, revised. Revised looks so good. That looks so good. I love the faded colors of revised. I really do. But 4th edition is probably going to be the one with the most updated text box. 2 mana, 1 and a red for an enchantment. Pay 1. The next time a red source of your choice would deal damage to you this turn, prevent that damage is what the Oracle text said. They got even more concise with it as the years go on. So I actually have a conspiracy theory, a harmless one that I don't actually believe, that all modern forms of Wizards Oracle text, everything that they have learned in terms of how to word their cards very precisely in a rule set comes from trying to figure out how to word circles of protection in exactly the right way. So, the modern day language, the vernacular of a magic card, the syntax it must use or else it's wrong is because of these. Now, again, Cop Red's the best one. It always will be the best one. It always was the best one. Not every cop can do something about lightning bolts, which is a very funny sentence when you think about it. It's very strange. But anyway, next time you get a thunderstorm in your area, call the cops. I'm seeing lightning bolts. And what do you want me to do? I don't know. I pay my taxes. But anyway, I pay your salary or whatever. It's like they just come to your house because there's lightning bolts. I don't think you want the cops at your house one way or the other, so don't do all that. But either way, Circle of Protection Red, I have to score more high. More high? Am I more high? I have to score this higher than the other Circles of Protection. And I think that it actually gets it's much better than the other ones, So I'll give Circle of Protection Red a 7. I'm so sincere. I'm 100% sincere. You see my face? Sincere. All right, so let's move on to Rrook Egg, everybody. You guys remember Rrook Egg? You don't remember Rrook Egg? Actually a huge deal when it got reprinted in 8th edition. Because to us, the space between Arabian Knights and 8th edition felt like it was actually some amount of time. Isn't that hilarious? It was only 5, 6, 7 years, and now we're so old. It's been 30 years, but here's the one from 8th edition. It looks like a Rrook Egg. Good job, Mark Zug. You do a good job on art. Here's the one Here's the one from Original Arabian Knights by Christopher Rush. Look at it. Look at how cool it is. You see how cool that thing is? It looks so cool. Remember when magic cards look like this? Why can't they look like this anymore? Can we get a magic card that looks like this? 4 mana, 3 and a red for a bird egg. It's a 0/3, and when it dies, you get a 4/4 red bird creature token with flying at the beginning of the next end step. So note that this does not like exile from your graveyard or anything like that. It doesn't do that. You can bring it back and then do it again and bring it back and do it again. And you just get 4/4s the entire time. Back in the day, a 4 mana 4/4 flyer, even with extra steps, was very good. And in this case, the extra step was block with it. That's actually kind of better, you know? So there's a reason. There's a reason that Rrook Egg was so highly regarded for a while. It's kind of crazy that you can get this for $20 now from Arabian Knights. But do note this is a common. This is a common that's worth $20 from Arabian Knights. And not all of them are. Some of them are worth much less. So, you know, this is a card that was in a lot of people's binders for a while because it was kind of good in like really early kitchen table Magic. So, and even good in kind of early competitive Magic too. Rrook Egg's a fine Magic card, but not anymore. If I have to rate this fairly, I would give it like a 3 or something. It's just not that good. But I will give it the honorary 5 of the day because Rrook Egg definitely has its place in history. And no one can take that away from it. You know what I mean? But we'll move on to NT Seneschal of the Sun. This is a good Magic card, in standard at least. 2 mana, 1 and a red for a 2/2 legendary human knight. Whenever you attack, you may discard a card. When you do, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature, and it gains trample till end of turn. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card until your next end step. Currently going for about $1, and that sounds about right. I could see this being a pretty decent card in Commander. I've never really thought about it in that format, but altogether, you know, it's a red effect that benefits whenever you attack, not just whenever it attacks, but you want to be attacking in red for the most part. So putting +1/+1 counters on stuff is good. Discarding cards can be made to be very good for numerous reasons, and obviously drawing cards the red way on just a 2-drop is fantastic, and all it really wants is for you to attack. So it could be pretty good too, you know, honestly. I think it's a relatively cheap way to, you know, what do you get more? I keep thinking about this guy this week. Ishin 2 Heavens is 1 triggers, I guess, and just other attack triggers, you know, things that care about when you attack. You know, this is just good. This is just good in those decks. If you play, you know, Relentless Assault effects, things that give you more than 1 attack step in a turn, this is very good. So, there's just a lot of ways to exploit it in red. I like it. I will give this a 5.5. I actually think that it's, you know, a removable but relatively cheap, like red card advantage engine that is easy to get online. So, yeah, I like it. I like it. Next is Velahart Bike from Ether Drift. This is 3 mana, 2 and a green for a 4/2 vehicle. When it enters, you gain 2 life. You can tap it for a mana of any color, and it crews for only 2. It's really not that bad. It's not Ancient Cornucopia or anything, but it gains you a couple life, adds mana of any color, whatever, you know. You'll take it sometimes. I'll give this like a 3.5. I really will. Never, ever will you put this in a Commander deck. Anyway, Viva Surgeon's Insight from Phyrexia Albo is coming up. 5 mana, 3 and 2 blue for a sorcery. Draw 3 cards, proliferate. Not bad. Really? I mean, this is one of those where like you could be doing more for 5 mana, but sometimes drawing 3 cards is good enough. It really is. I'm going to give this the same score. I'm going to give this around a 3.5. You're probably not going to put it in your Commander deck, but if you're hard up to proliferate and you want to draw a bunch of cards, it's something that might find its way in, you know. Sometimes. Sun Titan again. It's yet again Sun Titan, everybody. I guess we have to skip you. Dark Remedy is up next from Core Set 2020 rather. 2 mana, 1 and a black for an instant. Target creature gets +1/+3 until end of turn. That is pretty bad. For a limited combat trick, I guess like sometimes, but I probably wouldn't even play it in like pre-release. This is not good. I'm going to give this a 1.2. Not a big fan of these kind of combat tricks. And then the final card of the day already? That's insane. Is Vein Drinker. This is a good card. from Shards of Alara. I really like this lady. 6 mana, 4 and double black for a 4/4 vampire with flying. If you pay red and tap it, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature. That creature deals damage equal to its power to this creature. Whenever a creature dealt damage by this creature this turn dies, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter, you see. So it is a vampire that flies and has a decent PT to begin with, and just basically taps to kill a creature. It's just very good. It then grows to a 5/5, which can tap to kill another creature, like turn over turn. This is a really sick card, but, you know, and again, in modern day Commander, I could see this being more of, you know, let's retire this from the Commander deck and throw it in the cube. Seems like a really fun card to draft with as one of your rares in the pool, you know. It just seems all right, but altogether, I don't think this is a Commander card anymore. It's so sad, but I will still give this like I'll still give this like a 4. I'll give Vein Drinker a 4. I think she deserves it. After all this time, you know, I think she deserves it. Bonus card, everybody. It's Hellkite Tyrant. That's a good bonus card. This was originally printed in Gatecrash. And there aren't a lot of great cards in Gatecrash, but this is at least a neat one. Still costs like $5.50 to get your hands on this. But it was recently reprinted in Final Fantasy Commander. That's $1. This one's $1. All these other ones are like $5 to $7. So just keep an eye on that. 6 mana, 4 and double red for a 6/5 dragon with flying and trample. Whenever Hellkite Tyrant deals combat damage to a player, gain control of all artifacts that player controls. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more artifacts, you win the game. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. This was never good in Standard, which is one of the reasons why Gatecrash is known as not a great set, you know. But in Commander, I think that this is one of those cards from today that, like, oh yeah, it's 6 mana, you know, just like Vein Drinker and a couple of the other cards we've looked at. Like, oh, this isn't as good in Commander anymore. It's kind of been one of the themes from not just today, but the last couple of days. This on the other hand, okay, maybe it doesn't fit into your Dragons deck, because there's just so many other options for dragons nowadays. But damn, like, it's not too hard to control 20 or more artifacts. 20, that's it. 20, that's all. You're telling me 20. They just printed a 4 mana version of Knuckles. Yes, Knuckles from the Sonic games. That says if you control 30 or more artifacts, you win the game. And I think that's doable. You know what I mean? But this also works really well with that Knuckles, because the Knuckles creates treasure tokens whenever creatures get in or whatever. So that's a way of getting 20 more artifacts. But if this hits, dude, you grab their Soul Ring and their Arcane Signet and whatever else, you know, Mana Vault, maybe another couple rocks, and then, you know, it could be an Isochron Scepter or like Rings of Brighthearth. You know, you never know what you might grab with this guy. It could even be a goat. It could happen. But one way or the other, I think that 6 mana is a lot, but is it that much to pay for a 6 power Flample guy to just give me all your artifacts and I might randomly win the game too? Like, this is, I think this still reads pretty decent to me, man. So I'll give Hellkite Tyrant a 6. Yeah. Costs a lot of mana. Don't care. This is one of those where I think if you're paying 6, you ought to get an effect like this. And even without the haste, like, oh, he's 6 mana for a guy that gets killed. You don't know that. Give him haste. Play him with Rhythm of the Wild or something, you know? Get creative. Why can't you just get, you know, it's a good Magic card to me. Anyway, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.